You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, an appeal is going out for motorists to respect the designated handicapped parking spaces. Also, a number of labor issues in the country to be addressed. And downtown Freeport set to come alive this weekend. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Jamila Mizik. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news tonight, an appeal is going out tonight for motorists to respect the designated handicapped parking spaces. The Northern Bahamas Council for the Disabled and Acting Deputy Director at Social Services says this has been an ongoing and vexing issue for the disabled community. The hope is that enforcement through ticketing and stiffer penalties would help in alleviating this problem. Here is Shashina Rolf-Farquharson.
To stop parking in parking spaces designated for persons with disabilities, that's actually against the law.
Acting Director at Social Services, Charlemagne Fernandez, says the blatant disrespect by motorists who are parking in disabled parking spots must stop.
That should never happen. I see it at every food store, at every business place. That is completely unacceptable. It's unacceptable, it's unfair, it's thoughtless, and it needs to stop right now.
Winifred Tete Ouso of the Northern Bahamas Council for the Disabled agrees. She says for far too long, drivers have accessed designated parking for disabled drivers without any regard for who needs it most. She calls it insensitive.
It's a very, very vexing problem where persons who are able to park in designated parking spots for the disabled, it's just downright wrong. You know, and we sometimes we get in a little trouble with, you know, when we see people doing it, you know, they sort of tend to fight back.
She believes that the solution is enforcement of the law and stiffer penalties for those who are in breach.
And I think one day it'll be completed and we'll find persons being ticketed for that. That's what we're agitating for. The laws were passed, but you know, it's not enforced.
And this Yuletide season, not only are they encouraging persons to respect the parking spaces, but Teta Ouso is also leaving this message.
As simple as it may sound, picking up the phone and calling someone who's at home with a disability means a whole lot to them. You know.
Shashina Rolf-Farquharson, ZNS Network News.
In other news, a memorandum of understanding recently signed by the government with the National Tripartite Council. Quentin LaRota, member of the council, says this year has been very exciting for the council as they recently received approval from cabinet to address a number of labor issues in the country.
The amendments of the Employment Act, the Industrial Relations Act, we also have the Decent Way Country program, which the Prime Minister signed a memorandum of understanding with the ILO. They had a mission in the Bahamas for a few days. Very exciting stuff. The NTC is doing some very good work. I am proud, and I want to recognize former Chairman Robert Farquharson, who is now the Deputy Chair, and of course Sharon Martin, our wonderful Chairman. We're doing some excellent work. What the NTC is the center of social dialogue. It's a council established, it's a statutory council. It's established by an act of Parliament, and at the council, representatives from the employers, the unions, and the government get together to decide on policy. And to recommend laws to the government to address certain areas in the Bahamas of concern, particularly in industrial relations.
Member of the council and representative of the Northern Region Employers, Malvise Capron, sharing her views on the recent approval.
I think it would benefit both parties, but that's the employer as well as the employees, as well as the government. but we have to come to the table and really talk and negotiate, because you have large employers, medium, and you have the small employers. So all of them have to be taken into consideration, especially when we look at the amendments to the Employment Act and the Industrial Relations Act as a whole.
The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture dubbing the month of December as National Cultural Month, and officials say the celebrations will continue into the new year for Grand Bahama. The theme is celebrating who are we. As Jamiko Knowles tells us, several events are planned to highlight the different artisans within the different genres in the cultural community.
The writers, we're looking at for the visual arts, photo, photography, fashion, entertainment, dance, and drama, and of course, the film.
If you fall under any of those categories, then you are not forgotten.
We have a lot of persons throughout the Bahamas who have talent beyond. We have Bahamians who even live abroad within touching the different cultural aspect of the world and globally, as well as here in the Bahamas. So it's a wonderful opportunity to celebrate them all.
Senior Cultural Affairs Officer Monique Leary says it is important to recognize those in the orange economy, especially the writers.
Believe it or not, we submitted over 45 local writers to be highlighted throughout the year, and we will be touching bases with all of them. That's an area we really don't pay much attention to. You know, it's always about the music, but it's more than just the music, because remember, in order to get to the music, you have to have someone write the words, write the poems, write the drama, write the scripts, and so those persons really need to be celebrated.
She adds that one of their main focus is allowing artisans to earn a living from their talents and skills.
Everything you do every day depends on somebody's talent, and so because they're not out on stage doesn't mean that they're not an entertainment or some type of contribution to our culture as to who we are. And so we have to look for those niches, look for those persons behind the scene.
Now the artisans recognized can be found on the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture's Facebook page. If you would like to know how you can be a part, Larry says there is a cultural registry.
Go to the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture Facebook page and register. Whether you're a painter, whether you're a dancer, whether you're a writer, register so we know who you are, where you are, and how we can assist you. That's very important. And finally, we have a national survey asking Bahamians who you are. Who you are. What does Bahamian mean to you? What it is to be a Bahamian. And so we really want the public to embrace these opportunities to speak to us.
From Eco Knowles, ZNS Network News.
In just a few days, the Ministry for Grand Bahama and the Small Business Bureau will team up for an exciting weekend filled with sales, entertainment, and a wide range of products that local businesses have to offer. LaShawn Dames, Business Services Manager, says that it is all about getting residents to shop local beginning this Friday. And if your business is offering good discounts for residents, Marketing Officer Trevor Simmons Jr. shares how you stand to benefit.
You have hundreds of local businesses throughout Freeport that have thousands of products, services, gift items that you can tap into. So rather than shopping online, as a lot of us tend to do, rather than picking up and taking a flight, we're encouraging you that businesses in the city of Freeport and throughout the island of Grand Bahama need your support now more than ever.
If you are a merchant or licensed business in the city of Freeport and you want everyone to know the types of sales, deals, giveaways that you have going on, you can simply email myself at trevor.simmons@gbpa.com, or you can email LaShawn at ldames@gbpa.com. Just with a flyer, if you have a flyer available, or just details in 10 words or less about the sales that you have going on. We will include that in our e-blast that we do, just informing the public of what you have going on.
Then on Saturday, it is the Ministry of Grand Bahama's holiday in the city. Communications Officer Yolanda Hanna says this festival will begin at 2 p.m. in the parking lot at the Downtown Welcome Center.
So we'd like to encourage everyone to join us this Saturday at 6:30 for the Christmas tree lighting ceremony, because we're going to kick things off with lighting the Christmas tree. The Christmas tree will be lit by the Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie. And of course, we have stockings for the kids. We have lots of giveaways, and then we jump right into our program. And so once again, it's going to be a full day of events, a full day of entertainment, and of course, the focus is downtown, all of the stores in the downtown area, as well as the surrounding areas.
The 8 Mile Rock and West End communities are undergoing a major facelift. Since coming to office, the Member of Parliament for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, the Honorable Obi Wilchcombe, has made it a point to enhance the appearance of that community. Jay Philippe has more.
In a continued effort to beautify West Grand Bahama, the Member of Parliament for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, the Honorable Obi Wilchcombe, has set a mandate to transform areas of 8 Mile Rock and West End. The cleanup campaign started some weeks ago under the leadership of Todd Martin, who resides in 8 Mile Rock. Martin said since the project started, some 50 residents in the area have been employed for this initiative as they continue to execute Phase 1 of the West Grand Bahama cleanup project that began with side road cleaning.
He feels that if we could employ as much young men and women, it'll create a great feeling for the community at large. And right now, the first phase is the deep cleaning. The young guys are they're showcasing their talent and what they could do, so we could give them a chance. They're earning the money so that they could pump back into the economy, and they're feeling good about themselves.
Martin adds that Phase 2 of the cleanup project in the West includes the demolition of old building structures.
We're going to make it somewhere enjoyable for persons who would like to come and relax when they get off from work, or somewhere on their lunchtime to come and visit out there and have lunch on the seaside. Make it a tourist attraction.
Transformation in West End is also in the works. Jared DeGregory, who serves as one of the project coordinators, gave this update.
Began the campaign in West Grand Bahama, starting with the Cocoa Plum Field in West Grand Bahama, which was a tremendous donation by Dion McPhee and his group of companies that started the initiative. And moments after that, Minister Wilchcombe reached out to me and Todd Martin to start Phase 1 of our cleanup in West Grand Bahama, starting with the first Front Street and everything, and the Pelican Lake stretch, which is now you can see the breathtaking view of the mangrove.
DeGregory also adding that the cleanup campaign is just one of many initiatives that will take place in West End within the next few months.
The cleanup effort is a big part of the Davis administration's economical plan. So they are doing a number of cleanups, and the dialect vehicles and most of the buildings that are dialect, we want to tear them down and build back a better community.
I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. We'll be back right after this break.